Hey, what's up everybody? Joshua Casper back at you with Plugin Boutique, and today we're checking out the Session Keys Grand Y Kontakt instrument from e-instruments. This is a really lush sounding grand piano library. The piano itself sounds absolutely phenomenal, as you heard, but there's also a few key things inside of here that make this next level, and I'm going to show you what those are right now. So right off the bat, we've got the different effects chain presets, and it's titled sound. So if I come over here, these are the different sounds, and as I flip through these, a lot of different things will get updated, including things like your effects and even this down here where you can tweak out the piano. I'm going to talk about this in a second, but if I come down to pulse noise, so not only do you get the piano, but you get some really crazy effects sounding stuff too. Of course, you can always jump into the effects panel and tweak to your heart's desire. We've got an equalizer, a stereo widener, a compressor, the reverb control, and the delay. There's also tonality controls with your resonance, envelope, the noise like your pedal and key and release, and then the reversed volume right here as well, further sculpting the sound. And then down here at the bottom, we can kind of cycle through different affected sampled sounds from the grand. So if we start with like the acoustic, this is going to be your most natural. And in fact, while we're doing this, let's go ahead and just put it on acoustic. And if I click here and drag up, I can come to mechanic. So you have these 5 different kind of sampled affected sounds, and then you can mix between them using the slider here. You also have a dynamic response knob, and all of that is really cool. But where things get really extra is inside of this Animator tab over here. And what we can do here is, if I come into my MIDI clip inside of Ableton Live, you can see here I've got some MIDI, but it's just one note MIDI. And if we listen to it, you can see that it's actually triggering full sequences, and that has to do with the MIDI. So there's a bunch of MIDI that ships with Session Keys Grand Y, and you have all of these different full songs. Well, I guess there's some ARPs and other things down here, but essentially a bunch of different songs. And if I just switch this to say Pop Heaven and go ahead and play the same MIDI clip, it's absolutely phenomenal. Now, we also have a smart chord control. I'm going to come back to this because there's more I want to show you, but I also want to jump over here and just show you that I can easily switch up the entire thing, because you'll notice that I'm just starting on C3, and that's because I have smart chord turned on. If it was off, it would actually play the sequence from whatever note I have, but if I come in here to the smart chord and turn it on and then show you the keys thing, G inside of the G major scale is G is now on C3, and now I have my scale here instead of the actual notes of the keyboard. So let's say I don't want this major, I can switch it to minor easily enough, and now that's a G minor on the same note. All right, we have our octave control. We have humanize function to make it a little bit less precise. We can also add bass notes or fifth bass notes by using these. We have complexity down here as well. If I come down here and add it to 1, this is going to significantly change how these patterns are played. So depending on what kind of feel you're looking for, the complexity is going to really change up whatever you already have in terms of the MIDI. Now it can go up to 3, so anywhere between 1 and 3, and you'll get a different style. We also have the dynamics controls over here. We have a swing quantize feature, and then we have tempo, so we can play the more stripped back version in terms of complexity, but play it at 2 times. You know what I mean? And we're definitely going to get more out of the instrument in terms of what it comes stock with. Let's jump back into the Animator for a second. So let's choose another song real quick, cinematic. Right here I've got Falling, right? The cinematic song is called Falling, and we've got an intro, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus 2, and the end that we can play using our keys over here. But a really cool thing here is if I look over here, I've got the folder called Falling, and this is supposed to be played at 60 BPM. So if I want to check it out in its original form, I can drop the tempo BPM inside of my DAW here. And we don't have to keep it like this though. Let's say I like the following verse, but I want to use a different chorus from a different song in here. So if I come into Velvet, for example, and click on chorus, and then click on chorus here, double click it, it will actually load that. So now I have Falling except for the chorus part, which will be the Velvet chorus 2. And that's going to be over here. So you can easily come in here and mix and match these up. You know, you don't have to have chorus on the chorus part. You can have whatever part you want. You could have the verse there as well. You could have a bunch of different verses from a bunch of different tracks if you wanted to. So there's a ton of control over this section here, and all of these different MIDI clips, if you come in here, there are a ton. Combined with the complexity and tempo controls, you really have a ton to work with. And that coupled with a really terrific sounding grand piano, and you're well on your way to success. Now, of course, you can always pull in regular MIDI here. In fact, let me do that just to show you. Here I have some standard MIDI. What I'm going to want to do is turn off the Animator and turn off Smart Chord, and then come over just to the piano essentially, and then choose my sound, something like Atmosphere or Large Hall rather, and then we can play this MIDI just as standard MIDI. There's also a different style of piano right here. If I click right here, you'll see that it's a different picture, and now the lid is on here. So that's another way to use this instrument. A third way to use the instrument is to turn on Smart Chord and then play on your keyboard knowing what chord you're in. So again, I'm just pressing C3 here, and it's giving me a G minor on the keyboard. So there are a ton of ways to approach this instrument. It's a really high quality instrument at a really low price. Definitely click the link in the video description if you want to check out more. I'm Joshua Casper here for Plugin Boutique. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next video.